Late one night, Mia Carter stared at a screen, a window into her home. What she saw shattered her peace. A figure barely visible moved through her living room, a phantom in her own home, captured by the silent eye of the camera. Disbelief warred with a chilling certainty. Her sanctuary breached, her world suddenly, terrifyingly, not her own. Mia's life was a carefully constructed fortress of order. Every item in its place, every routine a ritual of control. From double-checking the stove to the satisfying click of a deadbolt, safety was her constant, quiet obsession. Her suburban home, nestled among tree-lined streets, felt like an impenetrable haven, a quiet refuge from a chaotic past. Even her loyal golden retriever, Sunny, was a symbol of the comfort and security she had built around herself. But that morning, a subtle shift in her meticulously ordered world began to unravel her composure. Her bedroom door, usually shut tight, was now inexplicably cracked open, a sliver of darkness beckoning. Sunny, usually playful, sat rigid, staring intently down the hallway, a low, almost imperceptible growl rumbling in his chest. Mia tried to dismiss it, a trick of the light, a restless dream, but the feeling of dread clung to her like a shroud. Then, in the kitchen, another anomaly. A cabinet door, wide open, revealing the neatly stacked dishes within. She rationalized, but the cold tendrils of fear began to tighten their grip. Something was wrong. Throughout the day, Mia compulsively checked her front door camera feed, seeking reassurance, finding none. Then, a memory surfaced, the indoor camera, installed after a string of package thefts. A forgotten sentinel. With trembling fingers, she opened the app, scrolled to 2 o'clock am, and pressed play. The truth awaited. Then, movement. A tall figure, cloaked in a hood, stepped into frame from the hallway, a silent intruder. It moved with unsettling confidence, pausing near the kitchen, then turning towards the stairs, disappearing from view. Mia's breath hitched. A whispered no escaped her lips, her voice trembling, barely audible. She replayed the footage again and again, confirming the timestamp, the motion alert, the undeniable intrusion. Someone had been inside her house while she slept, while Sunny slept. The realization was a cold, hard punch. Within 15 minutes, the police arrived, their flashing lights a stark contrast to the quiet suburban night. 2 officers meticulously inspected the perimeter, windows, and locks. Every room was searched, every corner scrutinized. No signs of forced entry, nothing stolen, nothing broken. The absence of evidence was more terrifying than any damage. An officer's question hung in the air. Does anyone else have a key? Mia's mind raced, then froze. Her sister, a contractor. Then a name surfaced, cold and unwelcome. Ethan, her ex. The thought of Ethan, his controlling grip, his lingering presence, made her skin crawl. He had a key. The officer's advice was stark. Change the locks. But Mia knew it was more than just a lock. That night, sleep was a distant memory. Every creak of the house, every rustle, sounded like footsteps. Shadows danced on the walls, appearing alive, shifting into menacing forms in her peripheral vision. Sunny, usually her protector, was now pressed against her bed, growling softly at unheard noises, his fur bristling. Mia's eyes, bloodshot and terrified, reflected the sleepless torment, the fear that had become her constant companion. At 3:11 am, her phone buzzed. A motion alert from the living room. Her blood turned to ice. She opened the app. The room was empty. A sigh of relief, quickly replaced by a new, chilling dread. The camera slowly tilted upward. Not a glitch. It had been moved. Someone was still there. Just before the feed cut to black, a whisper crackled through the phone speaker, soft, insidious. Mia, the sound of her name, from inside her house, from the darkness, echoed in her mind. Her sanctuary was a cage. The screen went black, but the terror remained, a chilling promise of what lurked in the shadows. Late one night, Mia Carter found herself staring at a screen, a familiar ritual. Her home, usually a sanctuary, now held a chilling secret. On the security feed, a shadowy figure moved, a silent trespasser in the dark. Her heart pounded. Disbelief turned to a chilling dread. Mia cherished order. Every coffee mug, every lock meticulously placed. Her suburban home, a haven built on routine, a shield against a past she fought to forget. She worked, she relaxed, her loyal dog, Sunny, always by her side. This was her world, carefully constructed, safe. Then, a subtle shift. A morning unease. Her bedroom door, usually closed, now slightly ajar. Sunny, her usually playful companion, stood rigid, staring into the hallway. Mia tried to rationalize it, but a cold certainty began to creep in. A cabinet door, wide open in the kitchen, confirmed her growing fear. Something was wrong. She checked the outdoor cameras, then remembered the indoor one. A quick scroll to AM. The screen showed her living room, still and silent. Then, a shadow, a tall figure, hooded, emerged from the hallway. It moved with an unsettling confidence, pausing, then vanishing towards her bedroom. "No," she whispered, her voice trembling. Replaying the footage, the truth solidified. Someone had been inside. While she slept, the police arrived quickly. 2 officers meticulously inspected her home. No forced entry, nothing stolen, nothing broken, just an unsettling void. An officer asked, "Does anyone else have a key?" Her mind raced, landing on a name she wished to forget. Ethan, her ex. The thought of him having access made her skin crawl. The officer advised her to change the locks. A simple solution, yet it felt monumental. That night, sleep was a distant dream. Every creak, every shadow, became a threat. Sunny, usually her comfort, now growled softly at unseen noises, pressed against her bed. Mia's eyes, wide and bloodshot, reflected a terror that refused to yield. At 3:11 am, her phone buzzed. A motion alert from the living room. Her blood turned to ice. She opened the app. The room was empty. But then, the camera slowly tilted upward. Not a glitch, but moved. Just before the feed cut to black, a whisper crackled through the speaker. "Mia." Pure terror contorted her face. Her name, soft, from inside her house. Mia frantically changed all the locks, installed new sensors, and added more cameras. It should have brought comfort. Instead, the fear felt official. Like she wasn't imagining this anymore. This was real. A police officer explained the whisper audio was too distorted, suggesting interference. Mia feigned agreement, but deep down, she knew what she heard. Her name, spoken by someone who knew her. Someone inside, seeking refuge. Mia spent a night at her best friend Lauren's apartment downtown. Lauren suggested, "It's probably Ethan. Guys like that don't just disappear." The next morning, they returned to Mia's house. Sunny bolted inside first. Mia froze, her gaze drawn to the wall beside the staircase. 4 words scrawled in black marker. "Stop checking the cameras," Lauren gasped. Mia's knees nearly gave out. The message was clear. Police took the new evidence seriously, dusting for prints, searching for clues. Still nothing useful. No fingerprints, no shoe prints, nothing. It was as if the person knew exactly how to leave no trace. That night, Mia was back in her bedroom, determined. She locked the door and placed the kitchen knife on her nightstand. Not because she felt brave, but because she was tired of running from her own life. At 1:47 a.m., Sunny's low, deep growl woke Mia. A single, slow, heavy footstep echoed from the hallway. The doorknob moved once, then twice. The dresser trembled. Mia clamped a hand over her mouth, eyes wide with terror. Silence. Had she imagined it? Her phone buzzed. Motion detected. She opened the app. The hallway was empty, except, at the far end, the attic hatch hung open. Mia sat bolt upright, a new wave of horror washing over her. Her house had a pull-down attic ladder. She had never used it, not once. The next morning, police searched the attic. Initially, they found nothing. Then, an officer called down, "Mia, you need to see this." Her legs felt weak as she climbed. The attic smelled of dust and something stale. In a far corner, tucked behind old boxes, was a human nest. Pinned to a wooden beam above the nest were dozens of photos. Close-ups of Mia sleeping, working, walking sunny through her own bedroom window. Some weeks old, some months, one from the night before. Lauren grabbed Mia's arm to keep her standing. Mia stared until her vision blurred. Whoever it was hadn't just entered her house. They'd been living above her, watching, listening, waiting. A chilling realization. The officer found a fresh gas station receipt, time-stamped that morning, 10 miles away. The person had left recently, which meant they knew the police were there, which meant they were probably watching right now. For one sickening second, she had the overwhelming feeling someone was looking back.
Jetstar gas station purchase. Coffee? Beef jerky? Batteries? But Mia couldn't let it go. The batteries stuck with her. AA batteries. The exact kind her indoor cameras used as backup power. That detail hit her like a punch. Whoever had been in her attic wasn't avoiding the cameras. They were maintaining them, using them. The detective assigned to the case, Rosa Martinez, started pulling footage from nearby traffic cams around the gas station. Hours passed. Then a break. A man in a grey hoodie appeared on video at 5:42 a.m. Tolene. Baseball cap pulled low. He paid cash, but when he stepped outside, he looked directly into the camera. And Mia's whole body went cold. It wasn't Ethan. It was Noah Bennett, the previous homeowner's son. Mia remembered him vaguely from closing day. Quiet guy, mid-30s maybe? Said almost nothing while his mother signed the papers. Detective Martinez dug deeper. After the sale, he disappeared off the grid. No current address. No active phone line. A couple of prior arrests for trespassing and stalking after an ex-girlfriend reported he'd been living in the crawlspace beneath her apartment building. Mia felt sick. This wasn't random. This was obsession. He hadn't entered her life. He'd never left the house. That night, Detective Martinez insisted Mia stay elsewhere while they set up surveillance. But Mia had a different idea. If he thinks I'm gone, he won't come back, she said. He needs to believe I'm here. Martinez hated it. Lauren called it insane. But Mia was done being hunted. So, they made the plan. Mia would go home. Lights on. TV running. Her normal routine, plainclothes officers stationed outside. One in the backyard. One across the street. One inside the neighbor's garage with a view of the side entrance. The house felt wrong the moment Mia stepped inside. Too quiet. Like it was holding its breath. At 11:58 p.m., the living room camera pinged. Motion. Nothing visible. Then the kitchen camera. A shadow. Gone. Martinez's voice came through Mia's phone in a whisper. He's inside. Mia's pulse thundered. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but she stayed seated on the couch, pretending to watch television. Then she heard it. A soft voice from behind the wall vent. You changed things. Mia turned slowly. The voice was calm. Hurt. Almost. This was my home first. The vent cover in the hallway slid sideways. Noah's face appeared in the darkness behind it. Eyes wide. Unblinking. Smiling. Mia screamed. He lunged through the hidden maintenance passage beside the linen closet. An old narrow access shaft between the walls no one had known existed. Before he could reach her, the front door exploded open. Police flooded in. The house she thought she owned. The house she thought kept her safe had been built around secrets. And one of those secrets had been breathing inside the walls. Hidden passage changed everything. It ran from the basement utility closet up through the walls and into the attic. A narrow service shaft built decades earlier during an unfinished renovation. Big enough for electrical work. Or for a man thin enough to move unseen. Noah had used it for months, maybe longer. He knew the sound of every floorboard, every lock, every habit Mia had. He knew when she showered, when she slept, when she cried after late-night phone calls with her sister. The realization nearly broke her. 4 weeks after the arrest, Mia couldn't sleep in the house. Every wall felt alive. Every vent looked like an eye. She stayed with Lauren, going through the motions of work and life while the case unfolded. Noah confessed faster than anyone expected. Not because he felt guilty, because he genuinely believed he belonged there. He said hearing Mia laugh in his mother's kitchen made him angry. He said watching her routines made him feel close to the life he lost. He said he only whispered her name because he wanted her to know she wasn't alone. That line haunted her most. Months later, after the trial, Mia finally returned. Not because the fear was gone, because she refused to let it own the rest of her life. The contractors sealed every hidden space in the house. New drywall, new insulation, new security system hardwired into every room. But the real change wasn't in the walls. It was in Mia. The woman who once needed routines to feel safe had learned something harder. Safety doesn't come from pretending bad things can't happen. It comes from knowing you can survive when they do. The first night back, she sat on the same couch where it all began, Sunny cold beside her. The house was quiet, normal. For the first time in months, silence didn't feel threatening. It felt earned. She opened the camera up one last time. Living room clear. Hallway clear. Kitchen clear. No shadows. No movement. Just home. Mia smiled, then deleted the app. Not because she was careless, because she no longer needed a screen to tell her whether she was safe. She trusted herself now, and somehow that mattered more than locks ever could. People still ask Mia why she didn't sell the house. Why stay in a place that held that kind of fear? Her answer always surprises them, because leaving would have made the story about him. And it never was. It was about the night she learned how fragile control really is. About the moment terror turned into truth. About discovering that sometimes the thing hiding in the dark isn't a ghost, or a stranger, or even the past. Sometimes it's the part of yourself that still believes fear gets the final word. It doesn't. Years later, the neighborhood is still the same. Kids on bikes, porch lights glowing, quiet streets, the kind of place people call safe. And maybe it is. Or maybe safety was never about the place at all. Maybe it's about what happens after the worst thing you can imagine finally shows itself. And you realize you're still standing, still breathing, still here. Sometimes late at night, Mia still wakes to tiny house noises, pipes shifting, wood settling, the harmless sounds every house makes. She listens, smiles, and goes back to sleep. Because now she knows the difference between a house making noise, a two, and something truly being there. So, here's the question that stays with everyone who hears her story. How well do you really know the places you trust most? And if your walls could talk, what would they admit they've been hiding?